Hello everyone, it's me, Never As Near. Welcome back to my channel, and this is going to be my second part of my storytelling about talking about living with my parents and then growing up in the foster care system. This is a little series that I'm doing, so I hope you guys enjoy it. So after my Nana had passed away, my mom and dad fell into their deep depression. My mom started relying on pills, and my dad started relying on his electronics for happiness. During this time, my mom and dad stopped caring about our personal hygiene along with theirs. They stopped caring if our hair was brushed, we had clean clothes, or even if we had showered. It also became a point where they stopped caring if we had food or not. I remember one time being in the first grade, my teacher had given us new pencils, coloring pencils, crayons, and markers. I remember she'd given us these things because my parents did not go back to school shopping for us. So when we went to school, we had absolutely nothing. I remember sitting in her class one time, really hungry, playing with the crayon in my hand. I was looking at the crayon, thinking about putting it in my mouth, wondering what it would taste like. When I did this, I ate the whole crayon. One crayon turned into two crayons turned into three crayons turned into four, and four crayons turned into the whole box. I ate every single crayon in my desk that day. After when I was done eating the crayons, I realized I was still hungry. I grabbed my coloring pencils, and I was trying to figure out how I could eat a coloring pencil. I broke the coloring pencil in half and started chewing on the wood. I realized the wood didn't taste good, but the lead inside of the coloring pencil did. I started ripping apart the coloring pencil, chewing on the wood to try and get out the lead. That's when my teacher had noticed that I was eating my pencils. She got mad at me. She took away my coloring pencils and told me that those were for art and not for eating. She didn't understand that I was starving. I remember also this other time, when I was walking from her class, from the bathroom, I seen a little piece of a blue candy in the grass. I had never had a blue candy before. It was a hard blue candy that looked really good. It wasn't in a wrapper, it was just sitting on the grass. I remember being super excited because I found a new treasure. I picked it up and I put it in my mouth just to see what it would taste like. I liked the flavor. It was a blue raspberry. I decided to take it back to class with me, just so that way I could sneak little licks of it. I wanted to savor it, every minute I could get of it. I remember while I was trying to lick it in class, my teacher had noticed it in my hand. She asked me what I was doing. I told her that it was my candy, and I had eaten it before she could take it away from me. She ignored what I had said, and she told me just don't eat in class anymore. Growing up with my parents and not having a lot of food, and once there was no food, I used to try and get food from school to bring home so that way I'd have something to eat later. I had a little ice chest that I would keep in my room, and I would always fill it up with snacks. So that way anytime when I wanted to come home and eat something, I had something to eat. I remember one time I went somewhere, and when I came home, my parents went through my room, found my ice chest, and took everything I had. I was hoarding food, and they took my stash away from me. When I came home, I had absolutely nothing to eat. I had no soups, I had no sodas, I had no chips. Everything that I had stored away was gone. I remember sometimes we'd have cheese in the kitchen, in the fridge. My sister used to put that inside of a bowl, and she would eat it. She would melt the cheese, and she would eat the cheese. After, when we would have no food, I remember going into our second bathroom, going into the cabinets, drinking the cough syrup, and eating the paint off the walls. We would eat anything to try and satisfy the growls of our hunger, regardless of what we had to do. We became little savages. We would eat anything we could. We would try to do anything we could. We were just trying to survive. Not only were we not safe at home, but we were also not safe at school. We were constantly getting bullied. The kids didn't understand why we were the way we were, and we would always get made fun of. I remember loving lunchtime and loving when the school would give us things that kids didn't like, because then I would have something to eat. I would always ask the other kids if I could have the stuff that they didn't want. Their fruits, their vegetables, and even sometimes the soups that the school would serve us and the other kids didn't like. Growing up in these conditions was really hard, and we survived it. I would say that growing up in these situations had made us stronger than what we would have been today. We lived it, and we've overcome it. I've also had a bad relationship with food ever since. I know I eat too much, and I know that I think that I'm not going to eat again. Every time I'm around food, I always have this weird connection to it, to where I think I have to eat as much as I can, because later I'm not going to get to eat any of it at all. I've started working on that by trying to save my leftovers, or trying to put stuff aside so that way I know that I do have the option to eat again. I have gotten better at this. Everything with growing up in abusive situations is a work in progress. If you guys made it this far, I really appreciate you guys listening to this video, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Every day I'm going to be posting a new video about a different story each time. Every story is going to get progressively worse. If you guys like this story, please like and follow, because I definitely plan to do more. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you for listening.